We shall start with the second order system. Okay. So now when we are discussing the second order system, here the concept comes is before writing the equation of second order system, we must be knowing that how we got that particular second order system equation. Okay, how to form the second order system equation. Okay, that is what our first criteria. Clear. So now for that particular matter, just write the heading formal representation of second order system. Write down one by one. So we will just see that how we are going to represent the second order system. After that, how we are going to derive the time response of the second order system. Is that clear to you? So write down formal representation, formal definition and representation of second order system. Any system which exhibit linear constant coefficient second order differential equation of that particular form is given by this equation. Okay. And how we are going to represent the second order system derivation will not be asked in an examination. Okay. They will be asking you to derive the time response of the second order system. So we must be knowing that how we derive that one also. Okay. So how we form the second order equation. So for that matter, I am discussing for this particular thing. Okay. So now here second order system will be represented using a differential equation in this particular format. So what is that particular format? D square C by dt square plus A into dC by dt plus B into C of t equal to B into R of t. So here dC means what? C of t only. Okay, d square C of t only, but since it is understood that I have not written C of t. Okay. So here what exactly means is R of t represents input, C of t represents output. Second order differential equation means what? 2 times differentiation should be there. That is d square C divided by dt square. Okay. So in this particular format we have taken the equation d square C by dt square plus A into dC by dt plus B into C of t equal to B into R of t. So here any system, you can see that any system exhibits linear constant coefficient. Okay. So now here this particular equation is referred to as second order system. Fine. We agree that it is a second order system. Why? Because it is having the differentiation 2 times. That is d square divided by dt square is there. We consider. Where A and B are real constants. Where A and B are what? Real constant. So now after writing this one, we'll go to the next thing, that is formalization of second order system needs to understand the following two definition. When you are forming the second order system with respect to the system, okay, control system, we need to understand two definitions. Okay, right now. formalization of second order system needs the following two definitions. What are the particular definitions? One is what? Natural frequency. One is what? Natural frequency. You are following, right? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Following, sir.
Yes, yes. Oh, thank you. So natural frequency omega n. Omega represents frequency. N represents natural. Okay. So here like W structure is there on this one. So it is omega n. Natural frequency. So what is that particular natural frequency is representing? The natural frequency of a second order system is the frequency of oscillations of the system without damping. Okay. So without damping, whatever the frequency is obtaining, that is called as what? Natural frequency. First take the explanation. I expect all of you to write this one. So here damping means what now? So damping is the effect. Okay, so it will reduce or prevent the oscillation. Okay, like a friction. Okay, like a friction. See what happens. See when you are just pulling and leaving any object, okay, it will move to and fro. Okay, after some time, okay, what happens? It will stop oscillating. Yes or no? Once it is getting stopped, we understand that there is a friction force which is present. Okay, so there is a opposition force which is present. So that is why, okay, so that particular concept is called as what? Damping. Now natural frequency is the frequency without damping. So there is no damping. Let us consider when there is no damping, how much frequency it exhibits. That is called as what? Natural frequency. That is called as what? Natural frequency. Is it clear? It is frequency of oscillations. So now that is the thing. Once again I repeat, natural frequency omega n is denoted by the natural frequency of a second order system is the frequency of oscillations of the system without damping. Without damping. So next is what? Damping ratio delta. Damping ratio delta. So what is this particular damping ratio delta is indicating? Let's write down all of you. Damping ratio delta is defined by, so we define damping ratio as delta is equal to exponential decay frequency divided by natural frequency, which is in terms of radians per second. Which is in terms of radians per second. Damping ratio, the definition is, we define damping ratio as delta equal to exponential decay frequency divided by natural frequency radians per second. Taken? So once you take this one, we'll go to the next thing, that is taking Laplace transform on both sides of the equation. So we get, so this is the equation. So this part, for this particular equation, we are taking the Laplace transform. So what is this particular Laplace transform? So here in the Laplace transform, it is when you take the Laplace transform, we get this one. So second order d square c by dt square is there. So when it is the d square means, so you will get a s square. Okay. So like what we studied in the first module. So there we are writing that m into d square x by dt square is there. So when you take the Laplace transform, you will get m into s square. Similarly, Laplace transform for the d square you will get s square. C of t was there, c means c of t only. C of t was there, now it is c of s. S square c of s plus a into s into c of s plus b into c of s equal to b into r of s. Okay, so this is the Laplace transform taking on both sides. Is that clear? So now, okay, if you're not responding also fine, but if you feel that I'm going fast and if you're not written, please tell me at that particular time at least. Okay, so that I can wait for some time and I can go. So now I can say that, so from this equation, you take C of s one side and R of s one side, and you will get C of s divided by R of s is equal to B divided by s square plus as plus b. So now it is second order because the greater power of s is s square. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So now when the constant a is 0, okay, system is said to be undamped and the poles of transfer function C of s divided by R of s would be on j omega axis of the S-plane. Fine. So this particular concept you need not to worry. When it comes for the derivation part and all, so we will understand how it going to happen. Okay. So for time being, you write this particular thing because in many of the system, many of the cases, what happens, so we may not understand at the first stretch. Okay. So when it comes and when you do something related to that one, then we'll understand very clearly.
Ye-
Huh? So when the constant a is 0, see when the constant a is 0, what happens? S square plus b was left out. So s equal to what? Minus b. S square is equal to what? Minus b. S equal to what? Square root of minus b. So obviously it is on the imaginary axis. Isn't it so? That is what the condition we are saying. So a is 0 means there is no damping, undamped system. There is no damping effect on it. That is what exactly the meaning. Okay. So when the constant a is 0, the system is said to be undamped and the poles of the transfer function C of s divided by R of s would be on j omega axis of the S plane. Would be on j omega axis of the S plane. Okay. So in other words, we can say that the poles of the transfer function C of S divided by R of S would be purely imaginary. As I told you, S square plus B will be equal to 0. Pole means for denominator for any transfer function. The denominator roots will be considered as poles, and numerator roots will be considered as zeros. Okay. So when you're talking about the pole, P-O-L-E-S, poles, okay. So S square plus B will be equal to what? 0. So when S square plus B equal to 0, obviously S value will become the purely imaginary, because square root of minus B we are taking. So obviously it will be purely imaginary. So next thing is what? By the definition of natural frequency omega n, write down. By the definition of natural frequency omega n, omega n is the frequency of oscillation of this system. Omega n is the frequency of oscillations of this system. Since poles of the system with A equal to 0 are on the j omega axis at plus or minus j root b. So S square plus B equal to 0. If you find the roots, what is the root? Plus or minus j root b we get. Okay. Plus or minus j root b. So in that particular matter, we can say that the root b is there, no? So that will become the natural frequency. What is the definition of natural frequency? Natural frequency is the frequency of oscillation when there is no damping. Clear? When there is no damping means what? When the A value is becoming 0, we say the system is not damped. Okay, when there is no friction force, when there is no opposition force, is called as damping. So in order to achieve that particular undamping condition, we have to make A equal to 0. When we make A equal to 0, S square plus B equal to 0 is the root value. So in that case, if you want to find the root, we'll get plus or minus j root b value will get. That particular imaginary axis, the root b is the value. That particular root b value will become the natural frequency. Is it clear? Just modifying the definitions. Okay, understanding the definition and modifying the equations, I can say. You'd understand how omega n will be equal to what? Minus root b. Sorry. Omega n equal to root b. See, why we are not considering the j? Because frequency cannot be the imaginary. Frequency cannot be the negative. Clear? Frequency is the value. That's all. That is why we are not taking the plus or minus j here. The value may be s equal to plus or minus j root b. But natural frequency what? Frequency means what? Now how many number of times it has oscillated with respect to the time. Can that be a negative value? Can that be imaginary value? No, it is a value. That is why we have taken the omega n equal to what? Root b. Is that clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So now b equal to what? When omega n equal to root b equal to what? Omega n square. Very simple. Write down b equal to omega n square. Now for this particular condition, okay, for this particular equation, b value we have found out. What is the b value? Omega n square. Here also omega n square. But we need to find out a value, right? Because a value we have taken as a and b are the constant. We need to find the constant value in order to form the complete equation. Clear? So this is the second order equation, I agree. But do we know the value of b and a? No. That is why first thing is what we consider a equal to 0 and we found b. Okay. We found b equal to what? Omega n square. Now our next objective is to find a. Yes or no? Our next objective is to find a. Right. Our next objective is to find a. If the complex poles of the transfer function, C of s divided by R of s, lie to the left of S plane, the system is said to be underdamped. This is one of the case. This is one of the condition we are considering. Our next objective is to find A. That is correct. If the complex pole of the transfer function, C of s divided by R of s, lie to the left of S plane, then the system is said to be underdamped. Similarly, if the complex pole is lying to the right of the S plane, it is called as what? Overdamped. If it exactly lies on the axis, it is called as what? Undamped. Okay, purely imaginary means what? There is no real part. When there is no real part, either the negative or positive is not coming into picture. Only on the exact imaginary axis only the roots will lie. That is called as what? Undamped. If the pole value is lying left side, it is underdamped. If the pole value lying right side, it is called as what? Overdamped. Please make a note of this one. Taken? Okay. Okay. So now assuming an underdamped system, the complex poles have a real part sigma equal to minus a by 2. Okay, minus a by 2. So how we get minus a by 2? This is an evident from the roots of denominator polynomial. C of s divided by R of s. Okay. Why it is minus? Left hand side means what? When you take the axis, left is what? Negative, right is what? Positive. That is why you'll get the negative sign minus. So a by 2 value, this is an evident from the roots of the denominator polynomial we get. Okay. The magnitude of this particular value is then the exponential decay frequency delta. So delta equal to what? Exponential decay frequency divided by natural frequency. So here sigma is the exponential decay frequency. So sigma, the modulus we have taken, because frequency cannot be once again the negative. Modulus we have taken. So a by 2 is the value. Natural frequency is omega n we have taken. So a by 2 omega n is the value. Okay. So next, from this equation, what is the a value? A value will be equal to what? 2 delta omega n. Well, delta is a damping ratio. Well, delta is what? Damping ratio. See, one thing we are not going in deep with respect to the how we got the value sigma equal to minus a by 2. It is an exponential decay value. So you need not to worry about this one. Why? Because this particular understanding itself will not be asked for your examinations and all. Very rarely. Okay. Maybe 1 out of 15 times they may ask you that can we explain how we got the equation like that? Okay. I don't know. I have not seen a question like that. But if they ask, they will ask. For that matter only I am doing this one. Okay. So in that once again I will not go in deeper with the how we got sigma equal to minus a by 2 and all. Why? Because it is unnecessary. So learning the unnecessary things also makes the important things vanishes. Okay, that is why I am not going in deep with it. Fine. So just understand that sigma value will be equal to what? Minus a by 2. So replace that particular value, exponential decay value. Okay, so delta value will get as this one. So modulus frequency cannot be a negative thing. That is why we are going to put the modulus sigma under the modulus will be equal to what? A by 2. So finally A will be equal to what? 2 delta omega n. Have you all taken up to this particular point? If you are not taken, please take it. I will wait for 1 minute.
Taking, sir.
Taking, okay. So from where you are taking? So shall I scroll up or down? Or it is okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Please write it down. Okay, taken. So now, substituting the values of A and B, we get C of S divided by R of S equal to omega n square divided by S square plus 2 delta omega n into S plus omega n square. So actually, straight away we need to take this particular equation, but you will be having an idea that you will be having a question in your mind that what is this particular omega n? What is this particular delta? How we get this particular equation? Okay, in order to understand that particular concept, we have done this particular exercise. Take now this one. C of S divided by R of S will be equal to what? Omega n square divided by S square plus 2 delta omega n into S plus omega n square. Taken?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we write down. We shall represent the transfer function C of S divided by R of S by a block diagram. Now we shall represent the transfer function C of S divided by R of S by block diagram. So now in order to represent in terms of a minor feedback loop, okay, so we should get that particular feedback element also. That is why we are rearranging the equation. What is that particular, how we are going to rearrange the equation? So take this particular equation in this particular format. So C of S divided by R of S equal to what? Omega n square divided by S square plus 2 delta omega n into S. So into 1 plus omega n square divided by S square into 2 delta omega n into S. So if you make this equation, okay, if you rearrange this equation, can you get the previous equation back? You will get it right. So if you multiply 1 with s square plus 2 delta omega n into s, and plus if you multiply omega n square with this one, so this s square plus 2 delta omega n into s, so this one, if you multiply this one with this one, we'll get the same thing. So similarly, when you multiply this with, okay, omega n square, so obviously omega n square will be multiplied with that particular factor. After that, denominator and numerator having the value this one, this will get cancels each other. Correct? We will get cancels each other, so that what we will get, we'll get the original equation back. We are rearranging the equation. Yes or no? And after that, next step what we are doing, so here omega n square divided by s square plus 2 delta omega n into s, we have taken upside. Okay. And then we have taken only this much as a denominator. So this can be done, all of you. Yes or no? Correct or not, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So once we take this particular equation, okay, we can see that we can relate the above equation, which is in the form of the feedback. Okay, feedback equation is what? G of s divided by 1 plus g of s into h of s. So here g of s value is what? Omega n square divided by s square plus 2 delta omega n into s is there. 1 is there. H of s is not there. H of s is, if it is not there, what we can consider? We can consider as a unity feedback. Okay, we can consider it as a unity feedback. Is that clear? Take this one, all of you.
ಕಲಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅಷ್ಟು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ.
Is that clear? Is that clear to you? All of
Yes,
you
sir.
taken this one?
Yes, sir. Taken, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay. So now block diagram representation form we can represent like this, right down. So block diagram for the above transfer function can be written as this particular thing. Block diagram for the above transfer function can be written as write down this one, all of you. There is a summing point, g of s value, h of s value you have taken, c of s is the output and r of s is the input. So h of s is a unity feedback. Okay, why? Because in the formation of equation we have seen that h of s will be equal to what? 1. Is that clear? My dear students, is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now actually when the question is asked like derive the time domain representation of second order system like that, c of t value you are finding out. So you may have to start from the this particular block diagram only. Okay. But if the question is asked for 12 marks and above, 12 marks and above or 10 marks and above, so we may have to derive the value of a and b. So we got omega and delta, so that it will give a good impression for the evaluator, so that they will give you good marks. Okay. So understanding the previous thing is not a big deal, yes or no? Okay, writing also it will take another 5 minutes extra. Okay. So now take this particular block diagram, all of you. Once you take, you tell me, we will go to the next thing. Taken?
Yes, sir. Taken, sir.
Okay. So now write the heading. Very important thing. Write once again this one. So that is the end of one particular question. Okay. Now the fresh take one. This is write 2 to 3 star marks. Why? Because compulsory question. Okay. So in internals also, in externals also, this question will be asked. Okay. In internals also, in externals also, this question will be asked. That is the assurance I am giving to you. Okay. Right. Step response of second order system. Step response of second order system. Write this one all of it. Step response of system. That step response, you write. Once again the block diagram and keep it ready. So tomorrow class we can start with the case number 1, underdamped case. So another 2 cases we are not going to solve. I'll just brief out. Those are not important and that will not be asked in exam also. Only one case, that is underdamped case only, they will be asking, and we are solving the numericals based on this underdamped case only. Okay. By today evening, I will be sharing the previous documents, previous classes documents and all I am going to share you. Okay. To your WhatsApp group, or else I will upload in the class MS team. Okay. That will be correct. So that if they ask you, yes, we have uploaded in MS team also, you can download from there also. Okay. Will that be fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now as of now 43 students are there. So regarding attendance shortage, please take care of yourself, because sometimes parents will call and tell that my son or my daughter is attending classes. But if we tell the real fact, then they will be astonishing. Okay, because daily basis we'll be having attendance status of each student. In MS Team there is an option of downloading attendance also. Okay, daily we are downloading. Don't think that we are not monitoring, but we may not tell you. Okay, last time around 20 students couldn't able to write the internals. This time that should not be happen. Please be careful. That's all I can say. Will that be okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Taken all of you? Okay. So now